Starting with my first project, I'm going to use 4 of these square decor pieces. I removed the bead hangers and the little staples. So before I glue these together, I'm going to just lay them side by side. And then I am going to use this welcome sign that I got from Walmart. Now this is smaller than my sign, but that is okay. I'm only using this as a stencil. So now I'm using the Dollar Tree vinyl and I'm going to just place it along the decor pieces. And I'm going to flip it around because behind this it is like paper. So I am going to trace the word welcome. And this is how it looks. Now I did forget to do the little circles inside the E and the O. So I went back and did that. But because this is smaller, I am going to just make the W bigger and the E stand aligned to it. Hopefully it made sense, but this is what I made. And then I just use the small scissors and cut this. So now before I add the vinyl, I'm going to glue these together and I'm going to just flip them around because I'm going to add some popsicle sticks on the back. Honestly, now that I look at the video and I'm seeing how the welcome looks, I think I should have just used a black vinyl instead. But because I did want to do the reversible stencil with this, that's why I use this color vinyl. So now I'm going to just peel the back of the vinyl and place the welcome sign like a sticker. And this is how it looks. Honestly, you can just leave it like this. Even you can use the black vinyl like I said and just leave it like that. But I wanted to do the reversible stencil. And honestly, this didn't work. You'll see in just a minute. I don't know if it's because it's stained that it bled through a lot. Or the vinyl wasn't good. It didn't stick really good. I don't know, either way, I still managed to fix this by going over it with some white paint. And this is how it looks. Now, all I did was add a sawtooth hook on the back. But that is it. Look how beautiful this welcome sign turned out. For my next project, I will be using 2 of these Dollar Tree wood coasters. For these beads, I'm going to use these smaller ones that I had. I forgot where I got these from, but I think I got them from Walmart. Dollar Tree does carry beads. They're like the ones I showed you earlier. I just didn't have enough to go all around the circle. That's why I use this size. So I'm going to just glue all of these around this size. Even though I used everything I had, I still didn't have enough. So I had to use these other ones right here that you can see that are like a different color. They were the same size, so I just used those. Once I was done gluing all the beads around, I then used a piece of paint stick for the middle because I do want this to be like sturdy. So paint stick's going to like be an extra hold. And look how beautiful this turned out. And I'm going to paint it using the Waverly Antique Wax. Once it's dry, that is it. You can add like a little plant or a candle. I will be using this wire basket and this wreath. The first thing I'm going to do is remove the tag. Then on the wreath, I am going to take this apart. I thought it was easy, but you do need some pliers. Once you're done taking this apart, you are going to take 12 beads out. I removed all 12 beads from one side, and then all I did was just slide them to the other side so each side can have some wire out. I then put the wire through the basket and I twisted it at the end, as you can see right here. Once I was done doing it to this side, I did it to the other side. But as you can see, the hole that I chose was more towards the back instead of me doing it like in the middle of the basket. And this is how it looks. Now I'm going to add some greenery, but I don't want the stems to be showing. So to cover that up, I am going to use this burlap bag that I got from the Dollar Tree. You can actually use any burlap bag the Dollar Tree carries. So I'm going to use this side because once you flip this around, you're not going to see the back because I've actually used this already. I didn't throw away and I decided to save it, and I'm glad I did because I can use this for this. Now because you're not going to be able to see the greenery, that's why I didn't mind, but if you have like a complete back, you can use the back and it's going to look a lot nicer. But anyways, I used this little part at the bottom that it was already like folded. So I feel like this went perfectly to the front. Before I glue this down, I just tuck all the bag in there, make sure it was nice and even. And then I cut off all the extra part of the bag. Once I had how I wanted it to be, I then started gluing this. But I only glue like the rim part to the bag. After I was done gluing this, I added the greenery. This greenery is from Dollar Tree. I will be adding 2 of these picks. And since spring's coming up, I did add some Walmart lavender. Now this part right here, I was showing you that you can add something to it. And that is it for this wreath. You can use this through all year round just by switching the greenery. For my next project, I will be using 3 of these Dollar Tree wood crates. I'm going to remove the hanger and the staples from the back of these. I said crates, but I think these are like little pallets. But anyways, moving on. Once I am done, I'm going to glue these together side by side. Now to make these more sturdy, I am going to add some popsicle sticks on the back. You're more than welcome to use wood glue. I decided just to use hot glue. For this, I'm going to use one of these dowels, which I am going to make 3 small little pieces. They are about 1.5 inches or 2 inches long. I'm going to send these out. Then I'm going to glue them to my sign. I did glue these like in the middle of each little palette. For this, I did use wood glue because I wanted this to be sturdy. I also used my stapler gun to staple these on the back just to make them extra sturdy. I will be painting this using the Waverly Antique Wax. And look how beautiful this looks. I had this welcome sign that I got during Christmas, or actually after Christmas, so I got it for like 50 cents. I am going to add it here, but you can honestly add whatever sign to this. And that is it. Look how beautiful this welcome sign turned out. Dollar Tree carries these small and these medium size. Now these larger ones I got it from Lowe's. These are the quart size paint sticks. For my first project, I will be using one of these packs, and I'm going to cut the little curved side to all of them, but I'm only cutting like one side. So now I'm going to show you where I'm going to glue these to, which is to this Dollar Tree mirror. First, I am going to remove this like circle design thing that it has around it. I did use these wire cutter scissors. Because the scissors were thick, I wasn't able to get down to this part. So once I had removed most of it, I then went back and cut off the rest. And this is how it looks after I'm done cutting it. So now I'm going to just flip it around and I'm going to start gluing the sticks. Now as you can see, I did glue like the side that I had cut off first, which I was supposed to do it the other way around. Glue the little curved side to this black piece. And this is what I had to do, so I had to go back and remove those and re-glue them. Once I was done gluing the first 6, I then went ahead and glued one in between each of them. So now I'm going to just keep going and keep filling them up until I go all around it. And this is how it looks. Now I'm going to continue gluing some more in between each little empty space. But this time I cut them just a tiny bit shorter, maybe like a centimeter shorter. So I'm going to just go ahead and glue them all around to where I see like a little empty space. And this is how it looks. Now you can honestly just leave it like that, but I decided to flip it back and add some more in between these other little spaces that you see. And instead of gluing the entire stick, I just cut it in half and glued like half of it. Once you flip this around, you won't be able to tell. You can see where I added like half of those popsicle sticks. It was just in between little empty space that you seen. And then after I was done doing that, this is how it turned out. Now, honestly, this looks so beautiful. It looks like a sunflower. I decided not to paint mine and leave mine just like this, and just added a little hook on the back, and I did use some jute twine. And that is it. Look how beautiful this turned out. I am going to use 3 packs and a half, which that totals to 35 of these paint sticks. The Dollar Tree item I will be using is this wire basket. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the tag. Then I am going to start gluing this onto the basket. Now I did use hot glue because I am also going to use my stapler for extra reinforcement. But if you don't have a staple gun, you can always use E6000, which I am going to show you just in a little bit. Right here, I am using my staple gun. Here is where I'm gonna show you how I use my E6000. So I did have to use a combination of E6000 and hot glue just so it can stay in place. And that is the 2 options you can use. If you have a third option, you are more than welcome to leave it down in the comment section. Now I am going to fill the entire thing. One thing I do recommend you doing is making sure that all of the sticks at the bottom are like touching each other or like really close by, because one thing I did is I wasn't really paying attention. And right here I'm going to show you where I left a little space right here, which if I would have made sure I had pushed all of them together, I wouldn't have this problem. Which my last stick, it wasn't fitting, but to fix that up, I just cut a little bit of the sides and then it fitted. Now you're going to do a second layer, but this time you are only going to put it in between the sticks to cover that little hole. And this is how it looks once I had finished. It is beautiful. You can honestly leave it this color, but I decided to paint mine using the Waverly Antique Wax. Once this is dry, I decided to use this Dollar Tree pillowcase to cover the inside. So I'm going to just turn the pillowcase inside out and then add it inside the basket. You can honestly use this little basket as decoration, or you can even flip it around and add a circle at the top, like a wood circle, and use this as a mini table. But that is it. Look how beautiful and high-end this turned out. my next lantern, I will be using 4 of these Dollar Tree picture frames. Look how beautiful these are. I'm going to remove the back and the glass and these little hooks. I'm also removing the little sticker on the side to all 4 of them. Next, I am going to start gluing these together. Once again, you can use E6000 or just hot glue. For the bottom, I'm going to show you different things that you can use. All of these things come from the Dollar Tree. My first one is this cutting board, which you can cut it to size, or you can use these Dollar Tree shelves to come in a pack. As you can see, that it's not going to cover the entire thing, but it is going to cover enough where you can add the candle in the middle. You can also use these pieces of wood. Now, what I found was this perfect decor sign that I got during the fall season, but Dollar Tree always carries these kinds of little decor signs, which this right here was a perfect fit. So all I did was just push it in there. But if I would have known I had this, I would have glued these around it. But as you can see, it fits there perfectly. To decorate this, I am using 2 of the Dollar Tree LED candles. As you can see, Dollar Tree carries these 2 different sizes. 2 of these fit in here perfectly. And then I'm going to use this boxwood greenery that I got from Walmart. I will not be adding a lid to this. I'm going to just leave it like that. And that is it. Look how beautiful this turned out. I will be using this welcome home decor sign that I got from the Dollar Tree. Now Dollar Tree carries so many of these large signs that you can use instead. So I'm going to start by removing the H, the M, and the O. I did try to be very careful because I wanted to reuse these letters, but they are made out of paper and like foam on the back. So I don't know, I might use them. I'm not sure yet. But anyways, the next thing I did is I removed the hanger. Now, I did try to move the image in the front, but I wasn't able to. So I just flipped it around and used the other side. Using this plate, I will making like the corners round. I will be making a wine bottle out of this sign. Now for the neck, I use this piece of wood. And for the round on the sides, I used the plate. I did end up moving it more lower because I felt like the neck was too short. So I did make it longer. I used this wire cutter to cut this. But you can use some sharp scissors if you have some. I'm going to use a sandpaper to smooth out all the edges. And this is how it looks. I didn't like how that looks, so I do end up just fixing this a little more. Like the edges of this, I made it more lower. I will be painting this black, and after I had like painted the neck, I decided to make the label. So I am using some painter's tape to make like a square in the center. For this next step, you can use the Dollar Tree poster sticker letters. I decided to use my Cricut, and I did use the Dollar Tree vinyl. So I cut out the words "why not." And I will be adding it to the label part. Dollar Tree carries this cork sheet that I was like, oh, I can add like a little cork at the top of the bottle, and that is what I did. So I just made like this little round shape, and I added it to the top of the bottle. To decorate this, I will be adding some jute twine to the neck, and I will be making a bow using the same jute twine. Now I decided to use some of the cork sheet to add some to like right here. So I'm going to add one at the top and one at the bottom, and that is it. Look how beautiful this wine decor turned out. My next project is going to be a larger version. To do this, I'm using some of these Dollar Tree wood hearts. Now, instead of using 4, I am going to use 5. These are the colors I am going to use. I decided to do 5 because I love how that yellow looks, so I felt like it went with this. This also reminds me so much of like Easter eggs, but they're hearts. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the string off from all the hearts. Then I'm going to give each heart 2 coats of each paint. And this is how they look. Now for the green, I added a little bit of white to the paint to make it more pastel. I'm going to repeat the same thing I did with my first project and start stacking these vertical. Once I had them how I like, I started to glue them, and I'm using only hot glue. I will be adding words to these, but it's easier if you glue the hearts first, so like that when you add the words, you know where they go. Now to make the words, I am using this Dollar Tree vinyl. Now for this, you can use a Cricut to cut the words out, or you can even use other things like wood letters or even wood words that Dollar Tree carries. Like this one right here is from Dollar Tree, this love one. but I am going to just trace it to the vinyl so I can use the vinyl instead. I did flip the vinyl around to where the paper is on the back. And I will be tracing the woodward like mirror, so when I cut it, it's going to be the other way. Hopefully I made sense. But once I am done with this love sign, I use some poster sticker letters from Dollar Tree to do the same thing. For this, I will be using the XO for XOXO. Other words I did was kiss, be mine, and cutie. I was going to do cutie pie, but I was over tracing letters and cutting them, so I just did cutie. And for the word kiss, I actually drew that myself or handwritten myself. The other ones are poster sticker letters that all I did was just traced around. I will not be using no transfer tape or anything. I'm going to just use these like stickers, and I'm going to add them to the hearts. To cover these holes, I am using these gems that I got from the Dollar Tree. So I thought these were individual, but they're actually on strips, so you do have to cut them off. These are also self-adhesive, so you don't need to glue them. Moving on, I'm going to flip this around and add this dowel to the back because these hearts are very thin, so it is kind of flimsy. I did have to move to the floor because this was too big. Now I'm going to flip it around and add the dowel. I am going to make sure it is on the side where it is going to stand up. Now I did add glue to this, but this wouldn't stand up. It was still flimsy, so I do end up adding this Dollar Tree piece of wood, which honestly you don't even need the dowel. All you need is 2 of these Dollar Tree pieces of wood and make a large one. I forgot to mention the stand I used was an oval wood piece that I got from the Dollar Tree, which I painted white. But that is it. Look how beautiful this stack up heart turned out. So from Dollar Tree, I'm going to use one of these jumbo crab hearts, and I'm going to paint this using the Waverly chalk paint in the color moss. I will be painting the front and the back. Once this is dry, I'm going to start by adding my greenery. The greenery I'm using, it's from Walmart. I used around 1.5 of the picks. Now each pick was like $1 and something. It was less than $1.50. But all I did was, out of one stem, I made like 2 little stems. Hopefully I made sense. And here I try to show you. Here I cut one part and then left the other. I did that to all of the stems. I will be using this tool to make little holes. Then I'm going to add the stems. I did use hot glue. At first I didn't, but then I was like, if I want this to stay, I need some hot glue. So I then added hot glue. I only added greenery in the front. For the planter, I will be using a box I made out of Dollar Tree wood. But here are some options from the Dollar Tree that you can use instead. I painted this white. Now I'm going to add the word love. This is a laser cutout word that I got from the Dollar Tree as well. I painted it using the Waverly Antique Wax and adding this in front of the little box. The next thing I will be doing is gluing some of this Dollar Tree foam. To add my heart to the small little planter, I'm using this dowel that I already had. I got this from Dollar Tree, so Dollar Tree does carry dowels that you can use. I painted it brown. I added it to the point of the heart, and I used a little bit of hot glue to glue it in there. I also glued some more greenery around where I removed some of the paint. Once I am done doing that, I'm going to add this inside the planter. And then to cover that up, I will be using some Spanish moss. And that is it. Look how beautiful this heart topiary turned out. The best part is that you can use this all year round. I will be using only one of the cutting boards, and honestly this is my favorite project. I also used my Cricut to cut out today's menu, but Dollar Tree does carry little stickers that you can use and just spell out today's menu. You can also use your own handwriting if you have like a nice handwriting. I personally don't. To decorate this a little more, I did cut this design out and add it underneath. Now for the next step, I will be using this Chalkboard Cropped sticker sheet that I got from the Dollar Tree to come in a pack. I'm only using half of one of the sheets. I'm going to cut this, leaving like about an inch on the other side of the board. This is a sticker sheet, so all you have to do is remove the back and add it to the board. The next thing I will be doing is adding a little shelf where I'm going to put the chalk. Now to do that, you can use a paint stick, just cut it to size. I will be using a piece of wood that I already had, which I will be painting black. Once it's dry, I'm going to glue it right here. To make this stand up, you can just glue the cutting board directly to this side, Or what I'm doing is I'm using only like the back part. This part I already had from a previous project I did a long time ago. I did save like these little pieces, so that is what I'm using. Once they were dried, I did cut off a small piece of towel so I can add the wood pieces in there, and then I glued this part to the back of the cutting board. And look how cute this stands. Now for the chalk, I am using this one that I got from the Dollar Tree. It's more like a pen looking type of chalk. But that is it. This completes this beautiful menu little sign. I'm only using 6, but you can make this smaller by using 4, or you can make this bigger by just adding more frames. It's totally up to you. Now the first thing you want to do with this is remove the back, including the little hooks on the back. Then you're just going to start gluing these together to make a big window. I am only using hot glue for this because I am reusing these frames to make other things, but I do recommend you using a heavier duty glue or just add popsicle sticks on the back for extra support. After you're done gluing all the frames together, that is it. You can use this either vertical or horizontal. I am using a small little wreath that I got from Target. This is the $5 one, but if you do make this bigger, you can always use like the bigger ones or make your own wreath for this. But that is it. Look how beautiful this turned out. I will be using this wreath form that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to paint this using white chalk paint. After this is dry, I am going to add some floral foam in the center of this little square. I made this burlap strip and I wrapped this around it. I then use a Dollar Tree ribbon and I cut this in a whole bunch of pieces. Each little piece was about 8 inches long. So I made a whole bunch of little strips. Once I was finished, I started tying this around the little middle part, just like this. And this is how it looks. I added the entire ribbon roll. Now I used some of this greenery that I already had, but Dollar Tree carries a whole bunch of greenery that you can use. I did cut like the little end of each little stem so I can be able to stick it into the floral foam. Some of them were falling off, so I used some glue. And this is how it looks. Now I'm going to paint this piece of wood that I got from Dollar Tree. This is the 10-inch long. I am going to paint it white. Then I'm going to add the wreath form to the piece of wood using hot glue and some Jenga blocks. To finish this off, I will be adding a little bow to the bunny, and I'm using this ribbon that I got from, I think this is from Walmart. But that is it. Look how cute this turned out. Project, I'm using one of the wood planks. Now I'm painting this with the Waverly Antique Wax, but I accidentally grabbed the wrong paint because the lid was on the black paint, and as you can see, I just smeared the black paint everywhere and then I went over it with antique wax. And this is how it looks. As you can see a little bit of the black. Once this was dry, I flipped it around and added a little hook using jute twine. Since I'm not adding anything heavy to this, that's why I only use a piece of jute twine. To decorate this, I'm using this little decor sign that I got from Dollar General. This thing was only $1. It has these little garden stuff at the bottom. I decided to paint my little pot white. I then glued this to my sign. I had some of this lavender pick and I'm going to glue some so it looks like this is a pot of lavender. To complete this, I will be adding this bow to the pot, and that is it. Look how beautiful this turned out. I'm using 5 of these Dollar Tree craft woods. Now these are 12 inches long. I am going to glue them together, and then on the back I'm going to add some popsicle sticks for extra reinforcement. Now I am using hot glue. You can use wood glue if you like. I will be painting this using the Waverly Antique Wax. I'm going to set this to the side and let it dry. Meanwhile, I'm going to show you how you can make a wreath using this Dollar Tree wire jute cord and this box wood. Now I am using some floral tape. I did get this from Walmart. I'm going to start by making a circle using the jute cord. Now you can make this as big as you want, but this size that I use is going to take up almost the entire pick, or the greenery, I'm sorry. Once I am done doing the circle, I'm going to start taking this pick apart. So now I'm going to start by adding the tape first, and then I'm going to be adding the greenery. Each time I wrap this around, I'm going to wrap it like 3 times and then add a greenery. 2 to 3 times. Right here I was just testing it out, how much times I have to go around before I add another of the little stem, and I did go around 3 times. So far this is how it looks. Now I did mention earlier that I almost took the entire pick. Look how beautiful this is. I'm showing you right here that I had one of them left over. So I didn't wrap it all around. As you can see, I left a little piece. That is because I'm going to add a bow, and it's kind of hard adding a bow on the tape. So I decided to just add it directly to my wreath, or like the jute twine cord. But before that, I am going to add a hook. I was showing you the Dollar Tree hooks that you can use, but I had this one right here that I'm using, and I feel like I liked it better. Now I'm going back to the bow that I was mentioned earlier. I am making one out of the ribbon here that I got from Dollar Tree, and then I'm going to add it to that little piece of the wreath. So for the bottom, you can add anything you like. For instance, you can use some of these woodworks that Dollar Tree carries, but I am using this tint plaque that I got from Dollar General. This was just $1. Going to add it to the bottom of my wreath, or not the bottom, but like underneath. Now as you can see, this has 2 little holes. So I'm not going to glue this. Instead, I'm going to use some of these thumbtacks to add them there. I did use a hammer. And that is it. Look how beautiful this welcome sign turned out. It looks so high-end and so farmhouse. For my next project, I'm using 4 more of these Dollar Tree wood pieces. I'm going to paint these using the Waverly Antique Wax. Once these are dry, I'm going to glue these together like this. I am going to make a square. So now I'm going to flip this around, and I'm going to add some of this Dollar Tree shelf liner. I'm going to start by gluing these in parts, because once I am done with one side, I'm going to like stretch it out to the other side. So this is how it looks once you flip it around, and honestly you can just leave it like this and make several of these and hang them on your wall. What I decided to do is add one of these little hooks on the, not the bottom, but kind of like at the side of the piece of wood, because I'm going to use this as a hanger to add a wreath. I'm going to add some ribbon to hang my wreath, but that is it. Look how beautiful this turned out. Starting with my first project, I'm using 2 of these Dollar Tree wood shelves. I will not be using the string or the little ring, so you can like set that to the side. So now I'm going to put these together to make a large sign. Now to put like them together, you can't use these Dollar Tree wood pieces, but I decided to use the paint sticks. Now this is like a better deal because you get 3 paint sticks for like under $2, and for the pieces of wood they're like $1.25 each. And for this project I'm using 2 of the paint sticks, which I am going to cut to size, and I'm going to save like the handle of one of them because I'm going to use that as a stem. So now I'm going to glue these together. I'm going to add one at the top and one at the bottom. To paint this, I'm going to use different kinds of paints to make like a dark orange. I'm using this Waverly chalk paint in the color pumpkin. I did added some Waverly antique wax, but that wasn't enough, so I added a different brown to this. And this is how it turned out. Now you have a beautiful canvas. You can use this either vertical or horizontal. I decided to use this horizontal. Now I had this stencil that I got from Hobby Lobby a while back, and I am going to add this. This says blessed, using some white paint. I am so happy that this time it didn't bleed through. So this is how it turned out. Now for the little stem part, which if you haven't figured out by now, I am making like a pumpkin. I am using the piece of the handle that I cut off from one of the paint sticks. I did paint it using the Waverly antique wax. To decorate this some more, I'm going to add greenery, and the one I'm using is from the Dollar Tree. To finish this off, I will be making a bow using the Dollar Tree ribbon, and that completes this beautiful blessed pumpkin. using 4 of these cutting boards. Honestly, these are already a pretty wood color, but I decided to paint mine. And I thought I wanted these to be like a darker brown, so I did make a brown stain. But after that, I decided to make these into a pumpkin. So I added some orange to make these orange instead. I did use like a wet napkin to remove some of the paint because I wanted this to look more like a stain. The next thing I will be doing is adding these letters that I already had, which I painted white. I am going to add the word fall, so a letter on each board. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that I got these a while back, maybe like 2 years ago, and I got them for like $1 each. But Dollar Tree does carry these. I mean, not Dollar Tree, I'm sorry, Walmart carry these for like $1.47. But if you don't want to use these, you can always use the Dollar Tree white vinyl and cut out some words to add the letters. So you can make these either vertical or horizontal. I decided to make mine horizontal instead. For this next step, I do recommend you using wood glue and hot glue. Now I'm going to glue these side by side. Then I'm going to turn this around and add some popsicles on the back for extra support. I will be adding some stems to the pumpkin, so I'm using these leftover little paint sticks, little handle parts, which I painted brown. Once they are dry, I will be adding one on each little pumpkin. Well, at least I'm going to try to make them look like pumpkins. To decorate these a little more, I will be making some jute twine bows and adding one on each little pumpkin. And that is it. Look how beautiful this turned out. For my next project, I will be using 2 packs of these wood ghosts. I got them from Dollar Tree, 8 come in a pack, and I'm only using 12 of these little ghosts. I will be painting all of these white. Once these are dry, I'm going to start to glue them together. I will be using this piece of wood as a guide so I can make like a perfect circle. I will be overlapping the ghosts, and what I like about this that I will be covering the little holes that the top of the ghost has. And this is how they look. Now I'm going to use this piece of wood to make like the banner. I am going to first paint it black. I did use my Cricut to cut out Hey Boo. So now I'm going to glue the banner to my wreath. to decorate this a little more, I added a bow I made out of this leftover Halloween ribbon that I got from the Dollar Tree. And that is it. Look how cute this turned out. Project is more of a dupe than an inspiration because I made this almost exactly the same. Now mine is a little bit bigger than this and it was a lot cheaper than this. So from Dollar Tree, I'm going to use 4 of these wood planks. The next thing I will be doing is cutting 3 of these different sizes. I was explaining to you how, but honestly I kept messing up, so I'm just going to let you see the video to see what I did. But all I did was just measure these differently and I cut them. I did use my jigsaw to cut these. As you can see here, these two are the exact same because I cut this in half. Now I didn't like that. Once I had put all of these like side by side, I actually wanted one of them to be a little bit bigger and then the other one smaller. So I did have an extra wood plank and that is what I used. I just made this one of them a little bit bigger and I used like half of the other one. But honestly, all you have to do is, instead of cutting it half, just measure it a little bit more than half and then you should be fine. Before I paint these, I am going to send them out first. As you can see, one of them is already painted with the antique wax. That is because I reused this piece of wood that I had. Now I am going to paint the big one using the same antique wax, but I added a little bit of water so it can be a little bit lighter than the other one. For my next one, I am going to paint it white and I'm using this acrylic paint. Now because this is acrylic, it is a lot sheer, so it almost looks like a whitewash, and that is what I was looking for. Now for the other one that's right next to it, I'm going to paint it white as well, but this time I'm using the Waverly antique wax. That is a chalk paint, so it's a lot thicker. Here you can see the difference. Now for this smaller one, I am going to mix these two colors. I did want to use my Waverly antique wax in the color moss, but it was all dried out, so I mixed these two colors and honestly it almost looks just like it. So because I used the extra piece of wood that I already had, I had an extra piece of wood that's this size, so that one I did paint it the same color, but I made it a little bit darker. To add the ribbon around these gift boxes, I used this burlap ribbon that I got from Hobby Lobby. It was $2.99, but right now they are on sale for 40% off. Now Dollar Tree does carry different ribbon that you can use instead. For instance, this one right here, I was gonna use this one, but I didn't have enough for all of my little gift boxes. So now I'm going to just wrap them, or like make almost like a little cross on all of these. And this is how they all look. Now for 3 of them, I'm going to make some bows using the same burlap ribbon. And then for the other 3, I am going to use some greenery. So here I do end up removing the smaller little gift box and just use 5 of them instead of 6. But that's totally up to you. I just felt like 5 looks so much better than 6. So I'm adding greenery to 3 of them and bows to only 2 of them. I got this little pine cone bag from Dollar Tree and I added some pine cones. For the tag, I'm using this one right here that I had. I did end up cutting just a little bit off. The Dollar Tree does carry tags that you can use. Now for the word joy, if you haven't guessed it, I did use my Cricut. I cut out the word joy. But honestly, you can just use your handwriting to add the word joy. Now, Walmart carries little tags with words already on them, so you can honestly just find one at Walmart or make your own. But to one of these, I am going to add the tag, and this completes this beautiful, beautiful Christmas decor sign. And that for my next project, I will be using 3 of the squares. I am going to remove the hanger, and then I'm going to paint the first one red using these 2 acrylic paints that I mixed. For the second one, I will be painting it white. And for the third one, I will be using this beautiful scrapbooking paper that I got from Hobby Lobby. It was 69 cents, but right now they are 40% off. I'm using my glue stick to glue this down. So now that I have all of my pieces, I am going to start to wrap them around. For this one right here, I will be using a red ribbon. Now this red ribbon is from Walmart. And this is how it looks. So now I'm going to use the same ribbon and make a double bow, but I will not be gluing it just yet. For this one, I am using this stripe ribbon that I got from Dollar Tree. I'm going to do the same thing, just wrap it around and making a double bow using the same ribbon. Now for the white one, I'm using this beautiful green ribbon. I got this from Dollar Tree, and I will be repeating the same thing, just wrapping it around and making a bow. So the next thing I will be doing is stacking these up. Now the reason I didn't glue the bows is because I wasn't sure what present was going to go first, but now that I know that it's this red one, I am going to glue the bow going down. Then I'm going to glue the stripe present on top and then glue the bow, and then at the end I will be gluing the white present. And as you can see that the way I stacked them, I did hide the little holes that these square pieces have. Well, at least I tried to. Like for instance, this right here, if I try to hide the hole, I had to put the present more towards like the other side, so it was going to look more slanted. So what I ended up doing is just switching that ribbon to the other side so I can glue the present more in the middle. So now you can just finish it and leave it like that and add like a little hanger on the back so you can hang this. But I did go a step further and I use a piece of wood that I have, but I'm showing you right here that you can use the ones that Dollar Tree carries. The only reason I used the one that I had was because it was longer than the one from Dollar Tree. So now because this is longer, the middle one is uneven. So to make that even, you do have to add a piece of wood. I just use a popsicle stick and then I glue the stick down. I then flip this around and now I'm going to add another piece of wood. Now these are the other ones which are a little bit wider but thinner. I painted this white and I glued it at the bottom, but before I glued it I actually added some Jenga blocks on the back. But that is it. Look how beautiful this turned out. I will be using one of these large wood ornaments that I got from the Dollar Tree. The first thing I'm going to do is paint this using this green. This is from the brand Craftsman and it's in the color Apple Tart. I feel like this was the perfect Grinch color. Once I am done, I'm going to set it to the side and let it dry. Meanwhile, I'm going to show you how I achieved to get the Grinch face without having a printer. So what I did is I used my 10-inch tablet. I searched for the Grinch face, which I actually did Grinch face drawing. Once I found the one that was easiest to trace, I then put a blank computer paper on top and traced it. As you can see, the face didn't fit in this 10-inch tablet, so what I did is I did the mouth first, then I scrolled it down to do the eyes. So now to transfer this to my sign, I am going to scribble the back with a pencil. Then I'm going to just place it on top of my sign. Now I am going to tape it down so it doesn't move. Then I'm going to start tracing. Once I am done, I'm going to carefully remove the paper and voila, now you have a Grinch face. Hopefully you can see it here, but on my end I can. Using these paints and small tiny brushes, I'm going to now start painting the face. Started off with the smile, which was the easiest. I was switching in between brushes because I needed to find like the smallest one for like the small little crevices. To fill in the eyes, I did use the apple yellow acrylic paint. It was too sheer, so then I went over it with Waverly chalk paint in the color Maze. Even though this is lighter, once this was dry, I then went back with the darker yellow. And this is how it turned out. So now to finish this off, I am going to grab a Santa hat, which I got this from the Dollar Tree. Now I was just going to just put it on like if this was a head and put it on, but it wasn't standing up. So in order for it to like stand up a little bit higher, I did use some cardboard. So tell me why I thought by tracing it the shape I wanted the hat to stand up, it was going to be the shape I needed to cut the cardboard, which I was totally not the case. But I did want to show you that that's what I did first. Once I was done cutting this, I realized that because of this shape, the hat wasn't fitting. So I did have to go back and trim it down. So the cardboard that I picked up was a little bit flimsy. It was thin, so I just stacked another one right on top to make it more sturdier. I then went ahead and glued this behind the Grinch face. I then added the hat, but the cardboard was way too big, so I do end up just trimming it a little more. But that is it, guys. The last thing I did is I added a little hanger on the back. But that is it. Look how cute this Grinch face sign turned out. Project, I am going to use 3 pumpkins, 2 of these, and I do want to show you the ones that I got from last year. They're almost the same, but this year's are bigger. They're probably like an inch bigger. So I am using, like I said, 2 of the ones I got this year and the one that I got last year. I'm going to start by removing the tags and the little bows. So I'm going to paint each pumpkin differently. The first one, which is the smaller pumpkin, I'm going to use a mixture of this butter color and white. And look how this turned out. It honestly almost looked like the same color as the pumpkin, but I still like how it looked better like this. So for my next pumpkin, I am going to mix some of this chalk paint, which is the color pumpkin, and whatever was left over of that yellowish, khaki-ish color. For my third pumpkin, I used whatever was left over, and I added a little bit of brown to make it darker. And this is how they look. Now I decided to leave mine just like this. I am not going to distress them or anything. Now for the smaller pumpkin, I am going to paint the stem using some brown paint. The next thing I will be doing is gluing these together, but first I am going to add like a piece of the popsicle stick on the stem part. So here I accidentally glued the darker one. So I do end up taking this apart and gluing the lighter ones. It's kind of going into like an ombre color. Here is where I realized that I had to glue the darker one. So there's two ways that you can make this decor piece. You can make it into a wall decor piece, which you can add a piece of string and hang this, or you can use a piece of wood to make this into a stand decor piece. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to trace the bottom of the pumpkin to the piece of wood using a little X-Acto knife. I'm going to like scrape or cut it out. Or I think that's how you say it. So there's 3 little holes, as you can see, and that is where I am going to put the pumpkin. This is so it can just be, so it can look more clean, and then it's like put together. Before I add the pumpkin, I'm going to paint this piece of wood using the Waverly Antique wax. Once it's dry, I'm going to add a whole bunch of glue into the little dent I made and add the pumpkin. Now, I thought this was going to be sturdy, but it is not, so I am going to add some popsicle sticks on the back. To finish this off, I'm going to add this beautiful bow I made out of a Dollar Tree ribbon, and that is it. Look how beautiful this turned out. Project, I will be using 2 of these Dollar Tree cutting boards and a pack of the paint stir sticks. I got these from Home Depot for $1.49. I'm going to start by gluing these together side by side. As you can see, I am gluing them like the long way. I'm only using hot glue, but you can use wood glue if you like. So now I'm going to set this to the side, and now I'm going to paint all 3 of the paint sticks using some black chalk paint. Once these are dry, I'm going to cut off the handle part or all 3 of them using my jigsaw. Actually, not my jigsaw, my handsaw. Then I'm going to glue 2 of the paint sticks, one at the top and one at the bottom. The last paint stick is going to be used for the sides. I will be measuring this first before I cut it. The good thing about these is that they have a ruler on the back and it makes it easier to measure. As you can see here, these are only going to be glued to the paint sticks. So to make this sturdier, I will be adding another piece of wood on the back. The next thing I will be doing is just retouching some of the paint and where you can see the wood. The next thing I will be doing is adding this Dollar Tree wall stickers. Now I feel like this was perfect for all of the projects I will be doing today because they are going to be for my kitchen. After adding this second jar, I didn't like how that line looked on the back. So I do end up removing this and just put it to the side, and then I added a smaller little jar, and then right on top of that I added, and in between these two I will be adding the spoon. The last thing I did was add a sawtooth hook on the back, but this completes this beautiful kitchen decor sign.